welcome to Standard Form with Cubit Education. In this mini lecture, you will write large numbers in standard index form and write small numbers in standard index form. So, what is standard form? We use standard form to write very large or very small numbers to make them easier to use and to understand. For example, this number here is very large. It's too big and we don't really understand what it means. This number here is far too small, 0.0000089. I didn't actually count how many noughts there were, but it's just tiny. That means it's really, really, really small. Okay, so this number is far too small, and again, we don't really understand what it means, and we can't do calculations with it either. So these numbers are also going to be written in standard form so that we can do calculations with them. So let's give an example of what standard form looks like. The diameter of Jupiter is 140 million metres. This is quite a distance. We can write this as a smaller number to make it easier to work with. So first of all, let's count how many zeros we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to write down that I have 7 zeros, and I can now write this number in terms of multiplying by 10. So let's say, for example, I had 14 and I times it by 10. That just gives me 140. I just add a 0 on. If I had 14 and I times it by 10 squared, 10 squared is 10 times 10, which is 100, then I would get 1,400. So this 2 represents how many zeros I have. Well, here I have 7 zeros. So I can write down 14 times 10 to the power of 7, which makes this number smaller and I can work with it easier. However, there is one more thing. We should make the number even smaller. The number that comes before the times 10 can be even smaller. It must be less than 1. So I will use 1.4 and multiply by 10 8 times instead. So if I put my decimal point here, it means I've gone 8 times in this direction. Let's watch that look. If I put my decimal point there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so it matters. This number is how many times I've gone in this direction over each number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so this is how examiners like to see it, and it is also the correct answer. Okay, let's try writing these numbers in standard index form. Pause the video and have a go, and we'll go through them. Okay, if you've paused the video and had a go, let's have a look at the answers. So this one here is 1.32 times 10 to the power of 5. That's because I've put my decimal point there and I've gone 5 times to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in effect, I've times by 10 5 times. This one, remember, make it small. 1.2 times 10 to the power of 4 because I've gone from my decimal point here, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And finally, this one, we'll leave it as a 6, and we've gone from 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 times 10 to the power of 6. Okay, let's look at a really small number now. Bacteria is 0.003 millimetres big. A millimetre is as thick as this full stop. It's very small. Bacteria is 0.003 of that. We can't even see bacteria. So let's look at this tiny number, 0.003. How will I write a really small number in standard form? Well, instead of going from the decimal point forward to the right, we're going to go from the end of the number and we're going to count back. 1, 2, 3. We went backwards to the decimal point 3 times. So our standard form version is 3, which would be this number, times 10 to the power of minus 3 because I've gone to the left, not to the right. Okay, so be very careful. Let's try another one. Let's try 0.0000012. Okay, so let's write out our number and work out how many times we went backwards. Now, remember, we want our number to be less than 10, so we need to start from 1.2, which is just here. So we're going to start from there and we're going to count back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we went back to the decimal point 6 times. So our standard form version would be 1.2 times 10 to the power of minus 6. So just go back from the number that you want to use. We're using 1.2, so we're going to start from here. Right, try writing these small numbers in standard index form. Press pause and we'll go through the answers. Okay, if you've paused the video and had a go, your first one, we'll go through them together. So your first one, we went backwards 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So that'll be 4 times 10 to the power of minus 4. Nice and easy. Now this one, remember, we want to go from the number that's smaller than 10. So we can't use 67, we're going to use 6.7. So let's write down 6.7. Okay, and we're going to have times 10. Excuse my terrible writing. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that would be to the power of minus 6. Now this one, we have to be very careful because we don't want to use 23.4. We want to use 2.34. So 2.34 would be the beginning of our answer. Times 10. And then we're going to go backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the power of minus 5. Okay, so I hope that's understandable and you understand how to put numbers into standard index form. Our next video is going to be on standard form calculations. So please, if you need to go through the video again, please do. There will be some questions at the end or a quiz. As well as some extra revision to do if you're struggling with that. And I will see you in the next tutorial on standard index form calculations. Thank you very much for using Cubit Education.